Hey, Mean Matt here. Man, just finished watching Turning Point, and I gotta say, that was a really good fucking show. And I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you don't know what to expect, and I think that's one of the things that I think we talked about last night watching Survivor Series, and I'll do a review of that. It was like, you don't know if we predict right or not, and that's just the thing, right? So, like I said, this was a really good show, and I didn't see the pre-show, but you had Finjuice defeating Raj Singh and Rohit Raju. I'm pretty sure this was a good match, but anyways. Of course, I knew this was going to be on a pre-show for the Impact Digital Media Championship. Is, of course, the She-Beast, Jordynne Grace, with Rachel Ellering defeating Chelsea Green. But, you know, it's fine. I think that Jordynne holding on to the title a little bit longer would be awesome. So, let's see where that goes. Nothing to take away from Chelsea Green, but I think while Ring of Honor is on hiatus, she'll do very well on Impact. We begin the show with Chris Sabin defeating Ace Austin with Madman Fulton. There was a point where Chris was gonna dive over the ring, but Madman threw Austin out of the way. And I gotta hand it to Ace. I think that because I'm not a big fan, or a fan in general, I just don't understand, I guess, how good of a wrestler he is. And he is. He really proved himself in this match. And they wrestled on the outside. There were some really good high spots as well. There was a point where you had Ace take out a black, I thought it was a sack or whatever, but this was a really good show of what they can do. And I mean, at one point Ace grabbed the card, but he didn't seem to use it. And this was a really good match, and I'm glad that Chris Sabin went over. I know that Ace Austin is the younger one, and you want to push the younger talent, but of course Chris Sabin's the veteran, so he knew what to do in this match, and that was awesome. We had Violent by Design defeating Heath and Rhino, which is fine. I mean, they really got theirs in as well. I know Rhino and Eric had a stare down. I believe that, trying to get Rhino to turn on Heath, but Rhino had none of it. And then, yeah, basically, Joe Dara got the pin. And this was really good. And I think that Diener being ejected was a good thing. It made it fair at least. But anyways, we had Rich Swann with Willie Mack defeating VSK, not Brian Myers, Zicky Dice. This was awesome. When VSK is a very good wrestler, in my opinion. I mean, so was Rich Swann, but I mean, you saw a lot from VSK. Rich Swann ended up getting the pin, so that was awesome too. W. Morrissey and Matt Cardona. And like I said, I thought Matt was gonna win. That was a long shot, but these two really beat the shit out of each other as well. And yeah, it was a close call. Moose actually ended up coming in when the referee was down, beating up Matt Cardona, allowing W. Morrissey to get the win when the ref came to. Of course, Moose bolted. So there was still a take team, and as we'll see later on, the favor will be repaid. Inspiration actually defeated Decay. So that was cool. They retained the titles. This was a good match. You have Inspiration with the Harlem Heat gear on, the flames, which looked really fucking awesome, actually. Decay had, well, he had Rosemary and more freakish makeup, and then of course Havoc as well. They both sported the red and black hair. These two really took each other to the limit. Like, because, I mean, Decay, you thought they were gonna win, but, you know, there was a point where, I can't remember the move, oh, it was the GTFO on the outside that the Inspiration performed on Rosemary. And yeah, eventually they got the win and retained the titles, as I've said, so that's pretty cool. As Trey Miguel defeated Laredo Kid and Steve Macklin, there was a point where you did have Trey and Steve wrestle each other. Laredo Kid was actually really cool in this match. Did the Spanish Fly on Trey, and yeah, this was awesome. Trey is still your X Division champion, so I still want to see that one-on-one with Steve Macklin for sure. Here's the Knockouts title. Mickie James versus Mercedes Martinez. Now, Mercedes is another very good wrestler. Coming back from NXT, this was a really good match because we got to see Martinez break out of Mickey's arm bar, and then, you know, it was a very good wrestling holds. You know, they tried to wrestle each other. Mickie ended up getting the win though, and is still your Knockouts champion. And then, of course, you got the return of the Virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo. She comes in, she beats Mickie up, and she has the title in her hand, saying she's not done, and they're gonna have another match down the road. And I'm pretty sure Hard to Kill is coming up next year. I'm not sure if they're gonna have a match sooner than that. I'm thinking they might. Is the Tag Team Championships, the Good Brothers defeating the Bullet Club. And that was a pretty good call in my opinion. Like I said, they should have retained the titles. But I mean, Hikuleo and Chris Bay are really good as a tag team, and you really thought they would have won the championships, but nonetheless, the Good Brothers fought a good fight, and they are still your champions. It's the main event, Full Metal Mayhem, and Eddie Edwards. You thought this match was going to go to him. I really wanted that too. I mean, you had everything. You had chairs, you had nice boards, I guess, and Eddie really giving it to Moose, and all the head shots that he took with the boards and the chair and, well, everything else. And then, of course, the outside. There was a point where Eddie was gonna go out for a dive. He ended up taking a suicide, giving it to Moose. You have Eddie use the ladder. There was, oh yeah, that was the thing. There's a suicida from Moose onto the outside, onto a table. That spot was pretty cool. And, you know, a very good Full Metal Mayhem match. And I mean, I really, and you know that I really enjoy these matches too. You know, any hardcore violent match. But this was awesome. And yeah, Moose picked up the win after W. Morrissey did a payback, destroying Eddie Edwards. And yeah, Moose is still your champion, and that's awesome. There was a point where I believe, I have to look this up, but anyways, there was a point where Josh Alexander, I'm not sure what happened. Like I said, he came out and there, I gotta watch it again, but moral of the story is that you got the debut of Jonah. Now, he was at Battle in the Valley, and I had thought he was going to go to Japan, but I guess he's on Impact now, and he's gonna be targeting Josh Alexander, so that's pretty cool. And so we'll see where that goes. But anyways, this was a really good show, and I really enjoyed the Full Metal Mayhem, as always. And so, yeah, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
So you know that them cutting WCW was a long time coming. But I think that there's this myth out there that Jamie Keller
Gnarly.
that's why he took pleasure in cutting WCW. I don't think that's the case at all. Because if you look at some of his earlier interviews, like